Okay, today is Tuesday, March 24th, and I got to say this, it's been on my mind for a while, and I think ever since like I started doing videos since Trump did the Venezuela thing, I do see what is going on here with the Trump agenda. Okay, now, fact, and as we all know, we got Trump, we got money people behind him, we got power behind him, and powerful people in other countries. And it's not just Israel, this horse shit, the U.S. and Israel against the world. No, there are other countries in on this, and we see that as things progress. But let's keep moving on. Like I said, I started to see what was going, and it starts with the illegals trying to get the leeches out of this country. But and it's not just, it's not. Well, let's skip the illegals. But it started with the Venezuela thing, and now Trump right now has control of everything from Greenland down through Canada, the U.S., South America, to include Cuba. They're just that's still ongoing, obviously. But people got to understand this is about not just oil and natural gas resources. This is about this is a whole new major 100%, 101%. We're going to call it different agenda, consolidating power, and we've seen that in the countries he's taken so far. And right now, Trump. Trump, everybody else involved in him, we're going to stick with Trump like we all do for, trying to address whoever is supposedly in control right now. They are going to take control of the Middle East. They're going to stay there until they have control of the Middle East. And what does that primarily mean? Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Look at how all these, remember when this shit started and we had the Trump and his people get up there, CNN, MS Now, and Fox, saying, oh my God, the proxies are going to start getting involved. And what did I say? Not going to happen, because they saw this shit was, they saw what Trump had already done with Venezuela and Greenland and everything else, and especially Venezuela. They said, fuck no, we're not going to have nothing to do with this. Just like when Trump bombed the alleged facility where they're making nuclear weapons in Iran, which they're not. Anyway, and they've all stayed out of it, and the media just dropped it. Trump and his war people dropped it. They see what's going on with this whole new Trump thing, and I agree with it. And why do I agree with it? For the same thing he took Venezuela, for the same reason he took Greenland, down through South America. It's for the oil, it's for the natural gas, this is a major, not just consolidation of power. This is a number one El Supremo New World Order kingpin of the fucking every country on this planet. That's a term we haven't heard in a while, is superpowers. It used to be the U.S., Russia, China, and going back in the day, Germany. They're looking to be, and I can tell you right now, this is going to be accomplished. The U.S. and everybody else that gets involved in this are going to be the superpower, with the U.S. running the whole show. And going back to why I agree with what they're doing, because I see with what they're doing, because of the way they operated with Venezuela and this other shit, they are consolidating not just in the title of my last video, the energy power grab, but that's the main thing in it, along with other natural resources and food products in other countries. Because the way I see it, because of the devastation, the dying of the planet from climate change, primarily being geoengineering, and yes, every human on this planet has contributed with their SUVs and driving a fucking Pinto and all this shit about going back to the good old days, a little house on the prairie, or Native Americans. If we could keep our technology and go back to the barter system, that would be perfect. But that's not going to happen. The way the world is right now, the way the 99.9% of the population is living in the moment, living with fear. I have to go back. I have to just touch on this for 20 seconds. The teachings of Bill Donahue of what the Christ is, and it's all together. The Christ, the Buddha, Krishna, Zoroaster, Pythagoras, and all sorts of psychologists, or whatever they called them back in the day, that knew all this shit. If you look back in the day, they all had the same thing in common. It's what's up here, our consciousness, our the pineal gland, the energy, the light beings that we are, and all that horse shit. But let's move on, because we're never gonna. It's past that. There aren't enough of us here that see that to know that we can fix that. So what do you do if you see what's going on and you believe you have the power and the control to change things, and you're actually going to save the planet? I really see that's what. I shouldn't say save the planet, save the people, save the planet. It all goes together. Does it suck for people like us? Pick your word. We're civilians, we're servants, we're serfs, we're people, whatever. And as I've said before over the years, people want to keep getting rid of that. We don't want leaders. It doesn't matter who you are, where you've ever been. All these people are ancestors and people we don't know in other countries throughout the history of this planet. The Romans, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, and Native Americans back in the caveman days. There has always been somebody on top. There's always been groups. There's always been a leader. That's the way it always has been. That's the way it's always going to be. Does it suck ass? Yes, it does. Do we need that? No, we don't need that. But where's all the people that are going to change it? I mean, in the U.S., how many of us think like that and know we could do it and would love to do it? 10, 100, 100,000? What about everybody is so focused, distracted, divided. It didn't begin on purpose, but when all these politicians and everybody else and government leaders, company leaders, everything else, make no fucking mistake, as I've said over the years, you have not everybody, but you have all these people all over the planet. Let's stick with the U.S. They're waiting on some sort of apocalypse or Armageddon or collapse of the United States so they can take over and be on top in their state or their country, or not their country, their county, and they're not going to do jack shit but run around and fend for themselves. They're going to fight with the club next door, the militia next door, the prepper group next door. But what do they all have in common? That they all preach against the loudest is a leader, somebody in charge, a group in charge. And every last one of them, without exception, is going to have a group or people or a person in charge. So stop that fucking bullshit nonsense right now. It's just bullshit. But I got to get back to what's going on with right now. Also, this Trump thing agenda right now, what the fuck they got going on, I get it. I see it. And it is going to work. Does that mean as this keeps going and the dust so-called settles down, is China, Russia, Europe, these other countries, Africa, and all that shit going to be under the thumb and control of the U.S.? Yes and no. With what's going on with the climate engineering and the dying, this planet is fucking deep shit. We see that it really started getting bad 5 years ago with the floods, the droughts, the snows, the freezes. And of course, as I've said over the years, that people need to see it. Like I said over the years, another thing was the biggest bullshit they put out with that movie 2012, and we're going to have an ice age and all that dumb shit. That is not how this works with the global warming. It doesn't work like that. I mean, this planet is so topped off with droughts and all that shit. I think I said in my last video, we got all these heat waves going on right now in the U.S. and other places, and right now we're not even having I believe it's the El Nino, whatever. The Nino one hasn't even hit yet, and look what the fuck's going on in the water. I get it. I see it. I understand what they're doing, and I actually agree with it. This has nothing to do with the left, right, or supporting the New World Order, supporting the Rothschilds and the Bilderbergers and all them fucking all that shit, even though I'm sure they got to be involved in all this somehow. But I see what they're doing. I understand it. I get it, and it has to be done. And I think I addressed this just a minute or two ago. We're not going to see a nuclear war. Nobody wants to use nukes. The country that is the least in on this, or you could say the one that's scared at the moment, it's not. Russia's all in on this. They understand what's going on. They see it. We can see by what's going on, the way they talk and the trade agreements and all this shit. This NATO, this Ukraine-Russia bullshit, like I've been saying, and they finally admitted it. Zelensky did a month or two ago, and he got buried with what's going on now, is Russia does not want NATO to be putting fucking nuclear missiles on the border of Ukraine, Russia. That's it. Where the fuck was I? I hate going off on these tangents. But it's just fucking bullshit. They have to do this, and I see. Oh, China. China's not going to use nukes either. Nobody's going to use a nuke. So, according to everybody, what everybody says, going back to the 90s or whatever, when I think it was Israel started this horse shit about we can't ever let Iran have a nuke. They're a nuclear threat. Bullshit. So if they don't have one, how can they use one? People saying Iran's going to use a nuke. We keep hearing they don't have one. I mean, so fucking stop it. But again, this is about a consolidation of power by this U.S. agenda with Trump on top, but it is also to save the planet, to save us on top. I just can't figure out the right way to say it to get people to understand it. Or if I'm wrong, fine, then I'm fucking wrong, and we're going to find out here not too long, and not too different not too long here. And like I was addressing in my last video, that Trump, this agenda does not want the strait open. They don't. They're not finished over there. What they need to keep going with what they're doing to consolidate shit and to eliminate as much of the resistance, the enemy as they can over there in Iraq and Iran, Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria. And if you notice, China has been staying completely fucking out. Nobody wants anything to do with what's going on with the agenda because they see how far these people are willing to go. And it started with Venezuela. No, it started with Greenland, went to Venezuela. Oh, before that, taking more firmer control of the Panama Canal. God dang it. And then Trump bombing, the alleged, they're building a nuke, that underground nuke site, Iran. They see what's going on here. Trump can ramble and make all this stupid nonsense he wants. The way he talks, CNN, Fox, and MSNBC can say what they want. They're all being bullshitted and fucking fucked about. The bullshit I've been seeing on these YouTube channels, economic crash, oil prices, we're going to this and that, the petrodollar collapse, civil wars, that's died out, at least on mainstream. It's all bullshit. It's all proper. No, in one of the Die Hard movies, the bad guy said, well, let them fumble about. We're all fumbling about. Let me see if I got anything else here. Holy, I didn't even need my notes. I think I went through everything. Do we suffer? Yeah, we do, blah, blah, blah. Oh, on top of all this, that people know me, that dude Bill Donahue from YouTube, that he's not a teacher, he's not a master like Buddha Krishna. He translates the Bible into, it's all about meditation. Jesus said, so enter within, practice a single lie, all that good shit. The same thing going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years. Buddha, Krishna, I think I mentioned this earlier, Pythagoras, Zohar, all this other shit, forever, Zoroaster, and all that shit. We can't get to that. We can't. I believe it's really gone, and that really sucks ass. That believes at the same time, I believe in that, and I meditate and all this shit, but when I think like that, then I'm sending out negative vibes, which sucks ass, but that's where we're at, which I can also say that's why they're doing the moves they're doing now, because the way the state of the world, they have to, and I think that's it. See you later, bye.